Look, most people are running from the one thing that would actually set them free. They're avoiding the grind. They're dodging the discomfort. They're looking for shortcuts to places that don't have shortcuts. And then they wonder why nothing changes. They wonder why they're still stuck in the same place year after year, telling themselves the same lies about tomorrow. You want to know the truth? The work is the reward. The pain is the teacher. And until you learn to fall in love with both, you're going to keep spinning your wheels, searching for something that's been right in front of you the whole time. I'm talking about falling in love with the work, not tolerating it, not enduring it, falling in love with it. There's a difference between showing up because you have to and showing up because you can't imagine being anywhere else. There's a difference between grinding because someone told you that's what successful people do and grinding because the process itself feeds your soul. Most people hate Mondays. They drag themselves out of bed. They hit snooze 3 times. They walk through their day like zombies, counting down the hours until they can go home and forget about everything they're supposed to be building. And then Friday comes and they celebrate like they just escaped prison. But here's the thing. If you're celebrating Friday, you've already lost. Because that means you spent 5 days of your life doing something you can't stand, and you think 2 days of freedom makes up for it. That's not living. That's surviving. And surviving is not what you were built for. You were built to create, to push, to test yourself against something meaningful. But somewhere along the way, you got convinced that work is punishment, that struggle means something's wrong, that if you're not comfortable, you're doing it wrong. Let me tell you something. Comfort is a slow death. Comfort is where dreams go to die. Comfort is the place people hide when they're too afraid to find out what they're actually capable of. And if you're comfortable right now, I need you to hear this. You're not safe. You're stuck. And stuck feels safe until you wake up 10 years from now and realize you've been running in place the whole time. The pain you're avoiding is the exact thing you need. It's not your enemy, it's your teacher. It's showing you where you're weak, where you're lying to yourself, where you're settling for less than you know you deserve. And instead of leaning into it, instead of asking what this pain is trying to tell you, most people run. They distract themselves. They numb out. They binge Netflix or scroll social media or drink or eat or do anything they can to avoid sitting with the discomfort that's trying to push them forward. But here's what happens when you run from pain. It doesn't go away. It follows you. It waits. And eventually, it shows up in ways you can't ignore. Regret, bitterness, that hollow feeling that comes from knowing you had a chance and didn't take it. That's the real pain. Not the temporary discomfort of hard work, the permanent ache of wondering what could have been. So stop running, turn around and face it. Look at the work in front of you and ask yourself, what if I stopped treating this like a burden and started treating it like a privilege? What if instead of asking how do I get through this, I asked how do I make this mean something? What if the grind isn't something I have to survive but something I get to experience? Because here's the shift. When you fall in love with the work, everything changes. The alarm clock isn't your enemy anymore. It's your opportunity. The long hours aren't a sacrifice. They're an investment. The setbacks aren't failures. They're feedback. And suddenly, you're not dragging yourself through life. You're attacking it. I see people all the time chasing results. They want the body, the business, the money, the recognition, and there's nothing wrong with wanting those things. But they're so focused on the destination that they hate every step of the journey. They're miserable in the gym because they're only thinking about the six-pack they don't have yet. They're frustrated in their business because they're only thinking about the revenue they haven't hit yet. And because they hate the process, they quit before they ever get close. But the people who win, they're not thinking about the finish line. They're in love with the steps. They're obsessed with the reps. They get a high from showing up even when no one's watching. They're not waiting for success to feel good. They feel good because they're doing the work. And that's the secret. When you love the process, the results are inevitable. Because you're not quitting, you're not looking for shortcuts. You're showing up every single day, getting better, learning, adjusting, and building something that can't be taken away from you. Let me tell you about pain, real pain. Not the kind you feel when your legs are burning in the gym or when you're tired from working late. That's temporary. That's nothing. I'm talking about the pain of looking back at your life and realizing you played it safe. The pain of knowing you had potential and never used it. The pain of watching other people live the life you were too afraid to chase. That's the pain that destroys you. That's the pain that lasts. So which pain do you want? The pain of discipline or the pain of regret? Because you're going to feel one of them. That's guaranteed. But only one of them makes you stronger. Only one of them builds something. And only one of them you can be proud of when you look back. People think discipline is about restriction, about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. And maybe at first, that's what it feels like. But over time, something shifts. Discipline becomes freedom. Because when you're disciplined, you're not controlled by your emotions. You're not a slave to your moods. You're not waiting to feel motivated before you take action. You just do what needs to be done. And that consistency, that reliability you build with yourself, that's what creates the life you actually want. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes. Some days you wake up ready to conquer the world. Other days you can barely get out of bed. And if you're relying on motivation, you're in trouble. Because on the days it's not there, you're done. You're stuck. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline is the promise you made to yourself when you were motivated, honored on the days when you're not. And here's what most people don't understand. The days when you don't feel like showing up are the most important days. Those are the days that separate the people who want it from the people who need it. Anyone can work hard when they feel good, when the sun's shining and everything's going right. But what about when it's hard, when you're tired, when nothing's working? When it feels like you're putting in all this effort and getting nothing back? That's when you find out who you really are. Most people quit right before the breakthrough. They put in the work, they show up, they grind, but they don't see results fast enough, so they stop, and they never know how close they were. They never know that if they had just pushed through one more week, one more month, everything would have clicked, but they gave up. And now they're back at square one, convincing themselves it wasn't meant to be. But it's not about meant to be, it's about commitment. It's about deciding that no matter what, you're seeing this through, no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets. You're not looking for the exit, you're not waiting for permission, you're all in. And when you make that decision, really make it, the universe has no choice but to respond. I'm not talking about some mystical idea where you just think positive thoughts and everything works out. I'm talking about the fact that when you commit fully, you stop wasting energy on doubt. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop looking for escape routes. And all that energy you were spending on wondering if you should quit gets redirected into actually doing the work. And that's when things start to move. You want to know why some people seem to have all the luck? It's not luck, it's focus. They're not distracted by 100 different opportunities. They're not jumping from one thing to the next every time something gets hard. They picked a path and they stayed on it long enough to see it through. And yeah, maybe they failed a bunch of times along the way. Maybe they had to pivot and adjust and learn hard lessons, but they didn't quit. And eventually, all that focused effort compounds into something undeniable. That's what people don't see. They see the success, they see the results, but they don't see the years of work that nobody was watching. They don't see the nights where that person wanted to quit but didn't. They don't see the moments of doubt, the fear, the uncertainty. They just see the highlight reel and think it must be nice to be talented, to be lucky, to have it easy. But nobody has it easy. Nobody. The people at the top, they paid a price you didn't see. They sacrificed things you're not willing to sacrifice. They showed up on days when everything in them was screaming to stay in bed. And they did it not because they're special, but because they decided the work was worth it. They decided the pain was worth it. They fell in love with the process of becoming. And that's what I need you to understand. You're not going to fall in love with the work by thinking about it. You're not going to enjoy the pain by reading motivational quotes on Instagram. You have to go through it. You have to show up and do the thing that scares you, the thing that's hard, the thing that makes you uncomfortable. And you have to do it enough times that your brain stops fighting you and starts trusting you. Your brain is designed to keep you safe. That's its job. And safe, to your brain, means familiar. It doesn't care if familiar is good for you. It doesn't care if familiar is making you miserable. Familiar feels safe. So every time you try to do something new, something challenging, your brain freaks out. It throws every excuse at you. You're too tired. You're not ready. What if you fail? What if people laugh at you? What if it doesn't work? And most people listen to that voice. They believe it. They think that because they feel afraid, it means they shouldn't do the thing. But fear is not a stop sign. Fear is a compass. It's pointing you toward the thing you need to do. Because the things that scare you are the things that have the power to change you. The things that make you uncomfortable are the things that help you grow. So when you feel that resistance, when every part of you is telling you to quit, that's not a sign to stop. That's a sign you're on the right path. That's your brain realizing you're about to level up, and it's trying to keep you where you are. And you have to thank it for trying to protect you, and then do the thing anyway. Because on the other side of that discomfort is a version of you that's stronger, more capable, more confident. A version of you that knows you can handle hard things because you've done it before. And every time you push through, you're building evidence for yourself. You're proving that you're not fragile, you're not helpless, you're not stuck. You're someone who does hard things. And that identity, that belief in yourself, that's what changes everything. Most people are walking around with a weak identity. They see themselves as victims, as people who things happen to. They blame their circumstances, their past, other people. And as long as they're blaming, they're powerless, because if it's someone else's fault, then someone else has to fix it. And guess what? Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to hand you the life you want. You have to build it yourself. And that starts with taking ownership of where you are right now. Yeah, maybe you got dealt a bad hand. Maybe life hasn't been fair. Maybe you've been knocked down more times than you can count. But you're still here. You're still breathing. And that means you still have a chance. So stop waiting for things to get easier. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for permission. Just start. Start messy. Start scared. Start with no idea what you're doing. But start. Because action creates clarity. You don't figure out your path by thinking about it. You figure it out by walking it. And yeah, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to waste time on things that don't work. You're going to look back and wish you had done some things differently. But at least you'll be moving. At least you'll be learning. At least you'll be building something instead of sitting on the sidelines watching everyone else live. And let's talk about that. The comparison trap. You're scrolling through social media looking at everyone else's wins and wondering why you're not there yet. You're comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. And it's destroying you. Because you're not seeing the full picture. You're not seeing their struggles, their failures, the nights they cried, the times they wanted to quit. You're just seeing the polished version they want you to see. So stop comparing. Your journey is yours, It doesn't look like anyone else's, and it's not supposed to. You're not here to copy someone else's path. You're here to create your own. And the only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. That's it. That's the only comparison that matters. Are you growing? Are you learning? Are you pushing yourself? If yes, you're winning. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. And let me tell you something about the people who are actually successful, the ones who built something real. They're not worried about you. They're not checking to see what you're doing. They're too busy working. They're too focused on their own growth to care about who's watching or who's ahead or who's behind. They're locked in, and that's the level you need to get to, where you're so committed to your own path that you don't have time to worry about anyone else's. That's when the magic happens. When you stop performing for other people and start building for yourself. When you stop needing validation and start validating yourself. When you stop looking for proof that you're on the right track and you just trust the process. Because the process works. It's worked for everyone who's ever achieved anything. And it'll work for you if you give it time. But you have to give it time. You have to be patient. You have to understand that real growth doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the quiet moments when no one's paying attention. It happens in the small decisions you make every single day. Do I show up or do I make an excuse? Do I push through or do I quit? Do I take responsibility or do I blame? Those little decisions compound. And over time, they create a life. So fall in love with those decisions. Fall in love with the discipline. Fall in love with showing up even when it's hard. Fall in love with the work that nobody sees, because that's where the real transformation happens. Not on stage, not when you're celebrating the win, but in the grind, in the early mornings and the late nights, in the moments when you're exhausted and everything in you wants to quit, but you keep going anyway. That's where champions are made, not in the spotlight, in the dark, when no one's watching and no one's cheering, and you have to be your own motivation. That's when you find out what you're made of. And if you can fall in love with that, if you can embrace the pain and the struggle and the uncertainty, there's nothing you can't do. Because here's the thing about pain, it's temporary. The soreness fades, the exhaustion goes away, but the person you become by pushing through, that lasts. The strength you build, that stays. The confidence you earn, that's yours forever. And nobody can take that from you. So stop running from discomfort. Stop avoiding the hard conversations. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for the right time. There is no right time. There's only now. And now is when you decide. Now is when you commit. Now is when you stop talking about what you're going to do and you actually do it. And yeah, it's going to be hard. It's supposed to be hard. If it was easy, everyone would do it. But you're not everyone. You're someone who's willing to do what others won't so you can have what others can't. You're someone who understands that the pain is part of the process, that the struggle is where the growth happens, that the work is the reward. So get to work, fall in love with it, enjoy the pain, embrace the grind, and watch what happens when you stop making excuses and start making moves. Because the life you want is on the other side of the work you're avoiding, and every day you wait is a day you're choosing to stay where you are. So stop waiting, start working, and fall in love with becoming the person you know you're capable of being. The clock is ticking, your life is happening right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to keep playing small, keep making excuses, keep waiting for permission? Or are you going to step up and claim what's yours? Are you going to do the work? Are you going to embrace the pain? Are you going to fall in love with the process of becoming? Because that's what this is about. Becoming, not arriving, not reaching some finish line where everything is perfect and you can finally relax. There is no finish line. There's just the next level. And the next one after that. And the joy isn't in getting there. The joy is in the climb, in the work, in the pain, in the growth. In knowing that every day you're becoming a little bit stronger, a little bit better, a little bit closer to the person you're meant to be. So stop searching for shortcuts. Stop looking for hacks. Stop trying to find the easy way. There is no easy way. There's only the right way, and the right way is the hard way. It's the way that tests you, challenges you, breaks you down so you can build yourself back up stronger. And if you can embrace that, if you can fall in love with that, nothing can stop you. Nothing. You hear me? Nothing. Not your past, not your circumstances, not other people's opinions, not your own doubts. Because when you're in love with the work, when you're committed to the process, when you're willing to embrace the pain, you become unstoppable. You become someone who doesn't quit, someone who doesn't need motivation because discipline is enough, someone who doesn't wait for opportunities because you create them. And that's who you need to be. Not perfect, not fearless, but committed, disciplined, willing to do what it takes for as long as it takes. That's the difference between the people who make it and the people who don't. Not talent, not luck, commitment. The willingness to keep showing up long after everyone else has quit. So I'm asking you right now, are you willing? Are you ready to stop making excuses and start making progress? Are you ready to embrace the pain and fall in love with the work? Because if you are, if you really are, your life is about to change. Not because something magical is going to happen, but because you're going to show up differently. You're going to work differently. You're going to think differently. And when you change, everything changes. Let me tell you something else about pain, something most people never realize. Pain is information. It's your body's way of communicating. It's your soul's way of saying, pay attention. Something here needs to change. And when you learn to listen to pain instead of running from it, when you learn to ask, what is this trying to teach me, instead of how do I make this stop, everything shifts. The pain in your muscles after a hard workout, that's your body rebuilding itself stronger. The pain of failure, that's life showing you what doesn't work so you can find what does. The pain of being misunderstood, that's the cost of being different, of standing out, of refusing to blend in with everyone else who's playing it safe. Every type of pain has a message, and if you're brave enough to sit with it, to really feel it instead of numbing it or avoiding it, you'll discover that pain is one of the greatest teachers you'll ever have. But most people don't want to hear that. They want the pill, the quick fix, the 5 easy steps to success. They want someone to tell them it's going to be comfortable and easy and fun all the time. And that's a lie. That's the lie that keeps people stuck. Because when they hit their first real obstacle, when things get hard, they think something's wrong. They think they're not cut out for it. They think it's a sign to quit. But it's not a sign to quit. It's a sign that you're doing something that matters. Because nothing worth having comes easy. Nothing meaningful happens without struggle. And if you're not willing to struggle, if you're not willing to suffer a little bit, then you're not willing to grow. And if you're not growing, you're dying. There's no middle ground. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. You're either moving forward or you're falling behind. There is no standing still. So where are you right now? Really, be honest with yourself. Are you growing? Are you pushing yourself? Are you doing things that scare you? Or are you comfortable? Are you playing it safe? Are you doing the same things you were doing last year, getting the same results, wondering why nothing changes? Because if you want different results, you need different actions. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect your life to magically transform. You can't keep showing up the same way, thinking the same thoughts, making the same choices, and hope for a different outcome. That's insanity. You know what you need to do. Deep down, you know, you've always known. But knowing and doing are two different things. Most people know what they should do. They know they should eat better, exercise more, read more, learn new skills, build better relationships, work on their goals, but they don't do it. Because doing it is hard. Doing it requires change, and change is uncomfortable. So they stay where they are. They stay in the job they hate, the relationship that's draining them, the body they're ashamed of, the life they're just tolerating. And they tell themselves it's fine, it's not that bad. Other people have it worse. But that's not living, that's existing, that's settling. And you weren't put here to settle. You weren't given this one life to just get by. You were put here to become something, to build something, to contribute something. And until you accept that, until you own that, you're going to keep feeling that nagging sense that something's missing. That quiet voice in the back of your mind that keeps asking, is this it? Is this all there is? And the answer is no. There's so much more. But you have to be willing to go get it. You have to be willing to step outside your comfort zone. You have to be willing to risk failure, to look stupid, to fall on your face and get back up. Because that's the price of growth. That's what it costs to become the person you're capable of being. And here's the thing, you already know you can do it. Because you've done hard things before. You've survived challenges you thought would break you. You've overcome obstacles that seemed impossible at the time. You've been knocked down and got back up. You've failed and tried again. You have evidence that you're capable. You have proof that you're stronger than you think. But for some reason, you keep forgetting. You keep telling yourself stories about why you can't, why it's too late, why you're not good enough, why other people can do it but you can't. And those stories are keeping you trapped. Those stories are the prison. And the crazy thing is, you're both the prisoner and the guard. You're the one telling yourself you can't leave. You're the one holding yourself back. And you're also the only one who can set yourself free. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep telling yourself the same limiting stories? Are you going to keep making the same excuses? Are you going to keep waiting for someday? Or are you going to decide right now, in this moment, that enough is enough, that you're done playing small, that you're done settling, that you're ready to do whatever it takes to become who you're meant to be? Because I'm telling you, the moment you make that decision, the real decision where you're all in and there's no going back, your life will never be the same. Not because the world changes, but because you change. And when you change, when you show up differently, the world responds differently. Opportunities you never saw before will appear. People you need will show up. Resources you thought were unavailable will become available. Not because of magic, but because you're paying attention now. You're taking action now. You're showing up now. And when you consistently show up, when you consistently do the work, when you consistently push through the discomfort, results are inevitable. But you have to trust the process. You have to understand that you might not see results immediately. You might work hard for weeks, months, even years before you see the breakthrough. But that doesn't mean it's not working. That doesn't mean you should quit. Because underground, beneath the surface where you can't see, roots are growing, foundations are being built, and one day, everything you've been working for will break through. And when it does, people will call it overnight success. They'll call it luck. They'll say you had advantages they didn't have. But you'll know the truth. You'll know about the nights you couldn't sleep because you were worried. The times you wanted to quit but didn't. The failures nobody saw. The doubts you had to push through. The sacrifices you made. You'll know that it wasn't luck. It wasn't overnight. It was the result of consistent effort over time. It was the result of falling in love with the process. It was the result of learning to enjoy the pain. And that's what I want for you. I want you to get to the point where you're not just tolerating the hard parts. You're embracing them. You're seeking them out. Because you understand that the hard parts are where the growth is. The hard parts are where you separate yourself from everyone else who's comfortable. The hard parts are where you prove to yourself what you're made of. There's a version of you that exists in the future, a version that's already achieved the things you're working toward. That version of you looks back at where you are now and knows exactly what you need to do. That version of you isn't afraid, isn't making excuses, isn't waiting for the perfect time. That version of you just did the work. Day after day, week after week, year after year, until the person they were became the person they wanted to be. And here's the beautiful thing. That version of you already exists. It's already real. You just haven't caught up to it yet. But every day you show up, every day you do the work, every day you push through the resistance, you're closing the gap, you're becoming that person. And the more you show up, the easier it gets, not because the work gets easier, but because you get stronger. You build capacity. You build tolerance for discomfort. You build confidence in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. And that confidence, that deep knowing that you can figure things out, that you can handle hard things, that's what changes your life. Because when you're not afraid of challenges, when you're not afraid of failure, when you're not afraid of pain, nothing can hold you back. Most people are controlled by fear. Fear of what others think, fear of failing, fear of succeeding and not being able to handle it, fear of being exposed as a fraud, fear of wasting time, fear of making the wrong choice. And all that fear keeps them paralyzed, keeps them stuck, keeps them safe and small and unfulfilled. But you don't have to live that way. You can choose courage over comfort. You can choose growth over safety. You can choose to do the thing that scares you. And every time you do, you take back a piece of your power. You prove to yourself that fear doesn't control you. You prove that you're capable of more than you thought. And slowly, gradually, you become someone who isn't controlled by fear anymore. You become someone who feels the fear and does it anyway. That's what courage is. It's not the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward despite the fear. It's acknowledging that yes, this is scary, and I'm doing it anyway. Yes, I might fail, and I'm trying anyway. Yes, people might judge me, and I'm showing up anyway. That's courage, and the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. And here's what happens when you start living courageously. You inspire other people. You give them permission to do the same. You show them that it's possible, that you don't have to have it all figured out, that you don't have to be perfect, that you just have to be willing to try, willing to fail, willing to get back up and try again, because that's all anyone who's ever achieved anything has done. They tried, they failed, they learned, they adjusted, they tried again. And they kept doing that until they figured it out. There's no secret formula. There's no magic trick. There's just consistent effort over time. There's just showing up even when you don't feel like it. There's just doing the work even when you don't see results yet. And I know that's not sexy. I know you want me to tell you there's a shortcut, that there's a hack, that if you just do this one thing, everything will change. But that would be a lie. And lying to you doesn't serve you. What serves you is the truth. And the truth is that building anything worth having takes time. It takes effort. It takes sacrifice. It takes pain. But it's worth it. It's so worth it. Because on the other side of all that work, all that pain, all that struggle, is a life you're proud of. A life you built with your own hands. A life that nobody can take from you because you earned it. And that feeling, that sense of accomplishment, that knowledge that you did what you said you were going to do, that's priceless. That's what makes all the struggle worth it. So don't run from the pain. Don't avoid the work. Embrace it. Fall in love with it. Because the pain is temporary, but the pride lasts forever. The struggle is temporary, but the strength lasts forever. The discomfort is temporary, but the growth lasts forever. And years from now, when you're living the life you dreamed about, when you're the person you always wanted to be, you'll look back at this moment, this exact moment right now, and you'll realize this was the turning point. This was when you stopped making excuses and started making moves. This was when you stopped waiting and started doing. This was when you fell in love with the work and learned to enjoy the pain. So make this moment count. Make this moment matter. Decide right now that things are going to be different. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because every moment you wait is a moment you're choosing to stay where you are. And I don't think you want to stay where you are. I think you want more. I think you're capable of more. I think you know you're meant for more. So go get it. Stop talking about it and go get it. Stop planning and go get it. Stop waiting for the perfect time and go get it. Because the perfect time doesn't exist. There's only now. And now is all you have. So use it. Make it count. Do the work. Embrace the pain. Fall in love with the process. And become the person you know you're capable of being. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your life. Don't waste it. Don't throw it away on comfort and convenience. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Go after what you want with everything you have. Fight for it, bleed for it, suffer for it, because that's what makes it yours. That's what makes it meaningful. That's what makes it worth it. The world doesn't need more people who are comfortable. The world needs people who are willing to be uncomfortable, who are willing to push boundaries, who are willing to challenge themselves, who are willing to do hard things. Be that person. Be the one who shows up when everyone else quits. Be the one who keeps going when everyone else stops. Be the one who believes when everyone else doubts. Because that's who you are. That's who you've always been. You just forgot for a while. But now you remember. Now you know. Now you understand. The work is the reward. The pain is the teacher. And falling in love with both is what sets you free. So get up. Get moving. Get to work. And don't stop until you become everything you know you're capable of becoming. Fall in love with the grind. Enjoy the pain. Embrace every challenge. Welcome every obstacle. Because each one is an opportunity to prove what you're made of. Each one is a chance to grow stronger. Each one is a step toward the person you're becoming. And never forget, you're not doing this for anyone else. You're doing this for you, for the person you see in the mirror, for the voice inside your head that knows you're capable of more, for the future version of yourself who's counting on you to do the work today. Don't let that person down. Don't quit on yourself. Show up, do the work, and trust that everything you're doing matters. Every rep, every hour, every sacrifice. It all matters. It all counts. It's all building towards something bigger than you can see right now. So keep going, keep pushing, keep believing, and watch what happens when you finally stop holding yourself back. Watch what happens when you fully commit. Watch what happens when you fall in love with the work and learn to enjoy the pain. Your life will never be the same. And that's exactly what you want. That's exactly what you need. That's exactly what you deserve. This is your time. Don't waste it. Nobody's coming to save you. I need you to sit with that for a moment. I need you to really let it sink deep into your soul. Nobody is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your boss, not your partner, not some guru, not some mentor, not some magical force in the universe. Nobody. You are completely and utterly alone in this fight. This is your war to wage. This is your mountain to climb. This is your burden to carry. And I know that terrifies you. I know that makes you uncomfortable. I know you don't want to hear it because it strips away every excuse you've been hiding behind. But it's the truth, and the truth doesn't care about your feelings. The truth doesn't care if it hurts. The truth just is. And the truth is that your life is your responsibility, nobody else's, yours, every single aspect of it. The good parts, the bad parts, the ugly parts, all of it belongs to you and you alone. You want to know why most people never achieve anything significant in their lives? Why most people stay stuck in the same place year after year, decade after decade, until they're old and filled with regret. It's because they're waiting. They're sitting around waiting for someone to come along and fix everything for them. Waiting for the perfect opportunity. Waiting for the right moment. Waiting for permission. Waiting for a sign. Waiting for motivation. Waiting for inspiration. They're waiting for a hero that doesn't exist. And while they wait, life passes them by. Every single day is another day gone, another day wasted, another day they'll never get back. And they keep telling themselves tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll start. Tomorrow I'll change. Tomorrow I'll take action. Tomorrow I'll become the person I'm supposed to be. But tomorrow never comes, because tomorrow is just today's excuse. Tomorrow is the word losers use to avoid taking responsibility today. Here's what nobody wants to tell you because it's too harsh, too real, too uncomfortable. The world doesn't care about you. The universe doesn't care about your dreams. Success doesn't care about your potential. Life doesn't care about your feelings or your excuses or your sob story about why things are hard for you. Life is hard for everyone. Everybody has problems. Everybody has pain. Everybody has struggles. Everybody has been dealt a bad hand in some way. But you know what separates the winners from the losers? The winners don't use that as an excuse. They don't sit around complaining about how unfair everything is. They don't wait for circumstances to change. They take action anyway. They fight anyway. They push forward anyway. Because they understand something that most people never figure out. They understand that nobody owes them anything. Nobody owes them success. Nobody owes them happiness. Nobody owes them a good life. If they want those things, they have to go out and take them. And that's what you need to understand too. You are not entitled to anything. You are not owed anything. You don't deserve success just because you exist. You don't deserve to be happy just because you want to be. You don't deserve to have your dreams come true just because you dreamed them. You have to earn it. All of it. Every single thing you want in life, you have to earn. And earning it means working for it when nobody's watching. It means pushing yourself when nobody's cheering. It means showing up when nobody believes in you. It means fighting for it when everyone tells you to quit. Most people aren't willing to do that. They want the reward without the work. They want the trophy without the training. They want the body without the discipline. They want the money without the hustle. They want the respect without the sacrifice. They want someone to just hand it to them, to make it easy, to remove all the obstacles and pain and discomfort. But that's not how life works. That's not how anything works. Nothing worthwhile comes easy. Nothing meaningful comes without struggle. Nothing great comes without sacrifice. You want to know what the biggest lie you've ever been told is? That someone is going to come along and save you. That if you just wait long enough, help will arrive. That if you just hope hard enough, things will magically get better. That's garbage. That's a fantasy. That's a story we tell children to help them sleep at night. But you're not a child anymore. You're an adult. And adults face reality. Adults take responsibility. Adults understand that if they want something, they have to make it happen themselves. Nobody is coming to rescue you from your dead-end job. Nobody is coming to rescue you from your toxic relationship. Nobody is coming to rescue you from your unhealthy body. Nobody is coming to rescue you from your mediocre life. If you want out, you have to get yourself out. If you want better, you have to become better. If you want more, you have to do more. And that starts with looking in the mirror and having an honest conversation with yourself. Not the comfortable conversation where you make excuses and justify why you are where you are, but the brutal, uncomfortable, painful conversation where you admit the truth. The truth that you're not where you want to be because of your choices. The truth that you've been settling. The truth that you've been making excuses. The truth that you've been playing small. The truth that you've been waiting for someone else to do what only you can do. That's the conversation most people are too scared to have. Because once you admit that it's your fault, you can't hide anymore. You can't blame anyone else. You can't play the victim. You have to take ownership. And taking ownership is terrifying, because it means everything is on you. Your success is on you. Your failure is on you. Your happiness is on you. Your future is on you. But here's the beautiful part. Once you take ownership, you also take power. Because if you're the reason you're stuck, you're also the solution. If your choices got you here, your choices can get you somewhere else. If you created this reality, you can create a different one. You have more power than you realize. You have more control than you think. You have more potential than you've ever tapped into. But you'll never access any of it as long as you're waiting for someone else to give you permission. As long as you're waiting for someone else to believe in you. As long as you're waiting for someone else to make things easier. Stop waiting. Just stop. You don't need permission. You never did. The only person's approval you need is your own. The only person who needs to believe in you is you. The only person who needs to make things happen is you. So make them happen. Right now. Today. This very moment. I don't care if you're scared. Do it scared. I don't care if you're not ready. Do it unprepared. I don't care if you don't know how. Figure it out as you go. But stop using those things as excuses to not start. Stop using those things as reasons to wait. Stop using those things as justification for staying exactly where you are. Because where you are right now, is that really where you want to be? When you look at your life honestly, are you proud of it? When you look at yourself in the mirror, do you respect what you see? When you go to bed at night, do you feel satisfied with how you spent your day? If the answer is no, then something needs to change. And that something is you. You need to change your mindset. You need to change your habits. You need to change your standards. You need to change your daily actions. You need to change who you're spending time with. You need to change what you're consuming. You need to change how you're showing up. You need to change everything that's keeping you ordinary and start doing the things that will make you extraordinary. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that sounds hard. That sounds uncomfortable. That sounds like a lot of work. That sounds like a lot of sacrifice. You're right. It is all of those things. But you know what's harder? Living with regret. Waking up 20 years from now and realizing you wasted your life. Looking back and seeing all the opportunities you didn't take, all the chances you didn't pursue, all the potential you never fulfilled. That's hard. That's painful. That's the real tragedy. Not that you had to work hard, not that you had to be uncomfortable, but that you had greatness inside you and you never let it out because you chose comfort over growth. You chose easy over excellent. You chose settling over striving. Don't make that choice. Don't be that person. Don't waste what you've been given. You have been given this one life, this one chance, this one opportunity to be something, to do something, to create something meaningful. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to waste it waiting? Are you going to throw it away making excuses? Are you going to squander it playing small? Or are you going to use it? Are you going to maximize it? Are you going to squeeze every ounce of potential out of it? The choice is yours. It's always been yours. And nobody can make it for you. But let me tell you what's going to happen if you keep waiting for someone to save you. Nothing, absolutely nothing is going to happen. Your life is going to stay exactly the same. Your circumstances are going to remain unchanged. Your dreams are going to stay dreams. Your potential is going to stay potential. Because potential without action is just wasted energy. Dreams without execution are just fantasies. Goals without work are just wishes. And I'm tired of hearing people wish for things. I'm tired of hearing people talk about what they're going to do someday. I'm tired of hearing people make plans they never execute. I want to see people take action. I want to see people do the work. I want to see people become who they say they want to be. But most people won't. Most people will read this or hear this and they'll feel motivated for about 5 minutes. They'll think, yeah, he's right, I need to change. And then they'll go right back to their old patterns, right back to their old habits, right back to their old excuses. Because changing is hard. Change requires consistent effort over a long period of time. Change requires doing things you don't want to do. Change requires being uncomfortable. Change requires sacrifice. And most people aren't willing to pay that price. They want the transformation without the work. They want the butterfly without being the caterpillar. They want the destination without taking the journey. But it doesn't work like that. You can't skip the hard parts. You can't avoid the struggle. You can't bypass the pain. You have to go through it. You have to embrace it. You have to use it to make you stronger. Every great person you admire went through hell to get where they are. Every successful person you look up to had to fight for it. Every champion you respect had to earn it through blood, sweat, and tears. They weren't special. They weren't lucky. They weren't blessed with some magical talent you don't have. They just refused to quit. They refused to make excuses. They refused to wait for someone to save them. They saved themselves. Through sheer determination and relentless action. Through showing up every single day even when they didn't feel like it. Through pushing forward even when everything in them wanted to quit. That's what you need to do. That's the path. That's the way. And I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it's going to be easy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to give you some motivational speech that makes you feel good but doesn't tell you the truth. The truth is, it's going to be brutal. There are going to be days when you're exhausted, days when you're frustrated, days when you feel like nothing's working, days when you want to give up more than you want to continue. And those days are the ones that matter most. Those days are where champions are made. Those days are where you find out what you're really made of. Because anyone can show up when they feel motivated. Anyone can work hard when things are going well. Anyone can stay committed when they're seeing results. But what about when you don't feel motivated? What about when things aren't going well? What about when you're not seeing results? That's when you discover who you really are. That's when your character is tested. That's when you prove to yourself whether you have what it takes. And you do have what it takes. I don't care what anyone has told you. I don't care what you've told yourself. You have what it takes. But you have to believe it. And you have to prove it through your actions. Words mean nothing. Thoughts mean nothing. Intentions mean nothing. The only thing that means anything is what you actually do. Your actions are the only truth. Everything else is just noise. So what actions are you taking? What are you actually doing to change your life? Not what are you thinking about doing. Not what are you planning to do. What are you actually doing right now? If the answer is nothing, then you know what needs to change. You need to start taking action. Massive action. Consistent action. Daily action. Not perfect action. Not flawless action. Just action. Make a move. Take a step. Do something. Anything is better than nothing. And then do it again tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. Keep doing it until it becomes who you are. Because that's how transformation happens. Not through one big moment, not through one massive change, but through small, consistent actions repeated over time. Every day you make the right choice, you get a little bit better. Every day you do the work, you get a little bit closer. Every day you show up, you build a little bit more momentum. And over time, those little bits add up. They compound, they multiply, until one day you look back and realize you're not the same person anymore. You've become someone different, someone better, someone stronger. But it starts with making the decision that nobody's coming to save you, that you're on your own, that if you want your life to change, you have to be the one to change it. Make that decision right now, not later, not tomorrow, right now. Decide that you're done waiting, done hoping, done wishing, done depending on other people. Decide that you're taking full responsibility for your life, for your success, for your happiness, for your future. Decide that you're going to do whatever it takes, that you're going to work as hard as necessary, that you're going to sacrifice whatever needs to be sacrificed. Decide that quitting is not an option, that failure is not the end, that obstacles are just challenges to overcome. Decide that you're going to become the person you were always meant to be, not through luck, not through help, but through your own effort and determination. That's the decision that changes everything. That's the moment your life shifts. That's when you stop being a victim and start being a victor. But you have to make that decision yourself. Nobody can make it for you. Nobody can force you to change. Nobody can want it for you more than you want it for yourself. You have to want it. You have to need it. You have to be willing to fight for it with everything you have. Most people aren't willing to fight like that. They give up at the first sign of resistance. They quit when things get hard. They retreat back to comfort when the path gets uncomfortable. Don't be like most people. Be different. Be rare. Be exceptional. Be someone who doesn't quit no matter what. Be someone who keeps pushing no matter how hard it gets. Be someone who finds a way no matter how many obstacles appear. That's who you need to become. That's who you're capable of becoming. That's who you will become if you just decide right now that you're done being ordinary. Average is easy. Average is comfortable. Average is what everyone else is doing. But you don't want to be average. You don't want to be like everyone else. You don't want to look back on your life and realize you wasted it being mediocre. You want more. You deserve more. You're capable of more. But you have to go get it. You have to earn it. You have to become it. And you have to do it alone, because nobody's coming with you. Nobody's going to hold your hand through the hard parts. Nobody's going to carry you when you're tired. This is your journey, your battle, your transformation, and you're the only one who can make it happen. So stop looking around for help. Stop waiting for someone to show you the way. Stop hoping someone will make it easier. It's not going to get easier. You're going to get stronger. That's how this works. The challenges don't disappear. You just become more capable of handling them. The obstacles don't go away. You just become better at overcoming them. The pain doesn't stop. You just become tougher. That's growth. That's progress. That's evolution. And it requires you to step up, to take ownership, to become the leader of your own life. Because right now, if you're honest with yourself, you're not leading your life. You're letting your life lead you. You're reacting to circumstances instead of creating circumstances. You're being pushed around by external forces instead of being driven by internal purpose. That needs to change. Today, right now. You need to take control. You need to grab the steering wheel. You need to decide where you're going and start driving toward it. Stop being a passenger in your own life. Stop letting other people make decisions for you. Stop letting fear and doubt and comfort keep you stuck. Take the wheel. Choose the destination. Step on the gas. And don't look back. Don't second guess yourself. Don't wonder if you made the right choice. Just go. Just move. Just act. Because action creates clarity. Action creates confidence. Action creates momentum. And momentum is everything. Once you get moving, it becomes easier to keep moving. Once you start winning, it becomes easier to keep winning. Once you start changing, it becomes easier to keep changing. But you have to start. You have to take that first step. You have to make that first move. And nobody can do that for you. Nobody's coming to save you. You're on your own. And that's exactly where you need to be. Because when you're on your own, you have no choice but to figure it out. You have no choice but to become stronger. You have no choice but to develop the skills and mindset and character necessary to succeed. When you're on your own, you can't lean on anyone. You can't make excuses. You can't blame circumstances. You have to take full responsibility for everything. The good, the bad, all of it. And when you do that, when you truly take ownership of your life, something magical happens. You become free. Free from the need for approval. Free from the fear of judgment. Free from the limitations other people try to place on you. You become your own person. You create your own path. You write your own story. And that story can be anything you want it to be. It can be a story of triumph, a story of transformation, a story of someone who refused to give up no matter what. But only if you write it, only if you take action, only if you decide that nobody else is going to author your life except you. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep waiting for someone to save you? Or are you going to save yourself? Are you going to keep making excuses? Or are you going to start making progress? Are you going to keep being a victim? Or are you going to become a victor? The choice is yours. It always has been. It always will be. And the clock is ticking. Every second you wait is a second you'll never get back. Every day you delay is a day closer to the end. How many more days are you going to waste? How many more opportunities are you going to let slip away? How much more of your potential are you going to leave on the table? Time doesn't wait for anyone. It doesn't care if you're ready or not. It doesn't slow down because you need more time to prepare. It just keeps moving forward. And you need to keep moving forward with it. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when you feel ready. No. Right now. This very second. Make the decision. Take the action. Start the journey. Stop overthinking it. Stop overanalyzing it. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. There is no perfect plan. There's only action and adjustment. You take action. You see what happens. You adjust. You take more action. That's how you build a life. That's how you achieve your dreams. That's how you become who you're meant to be. Through action, through effort, through persistence. Not through waiting, not through hoping, not through depending on others. Through doing it yourself, through being your own hero, through saving your own life. Because nobody else is going to do it. Nobody's coming. You're on your own. And that's your greatest advantage. Because when you accept that you're alone, you stop wasting energy looking for help. You stop wasting time hoping things will change. You stop wasting your potential waiting for permission. You just do what needs to be done. You become decisive. You become action-oriented. You become unstoppable. Because there's nothing more dangerous than someone who has nothing to lose and everything to gain. Someone who has accepted that they're alone and decided to use that as fuel instead of an excuse. That's who you need to become. Someone who doesn't need anyone else to believe in them because they believe in themselves. Someone who doesn't need anyone else to push them because they push themselves. Someone who doesn't need anyone else to save them because they know how to save themselves. That person exists inside you right now. They're waiting to come out. They're ready to take over. They're eager to show the world what they're capable of. But you have to let them out. You have to stop suppressing them with fear and doubt and excuses. You have to stop holding them back with comfort and safety and the need for approval. You have to set them free. And the only way to do that is to take action. Massive, consistent, relentless action. Starting right now. Get up, do something, make a move, take a step. change something, improve something, build something, create something. Just do something. Because every moment you're not taking action toward your goals is a moment you're moving away from them. Every day you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Every hour you're not building your dream, you're building someone else's. That's the harsh reality. That's the truth nobody wants to face. But you need to face it. You need to accept it. You need to use it as motivation to get moving. Because your life is passing by, right now, every second, and you can't stop it. You can't slow it down. You can't pause it to figure things out. It just keeps moving, whether you're ready or not, whether you're taking action or not, whether you're becoming who you want to be or not. It keeps moving. So move with it. Move faster than it. Chase your dreams with such intensity that time can barely keep up. Work harder than you ever have. Push further than you ever have. Sacrifice more than you ever have. Commit deeper than you ever have. Become obsessed. Become relentless. Become possessed by your vision of who you want to become. Let that vision drive you. Let it consume you. Let it be the thing you think about when you wake up and the thing you think about when you go to sleep. Make it your purpose. Make it your mission. Make it your reason for existing. And then do whatever it takes to make it real. Whatever it takes. No excuses. No exceptions. No negotiations. If you said you're going to do it, you do it. If you committed to it, you follow through. If you want it, you earn it. That's the code. That's the standard. That's the way. And it's not easy. I'm not going to pretend it is. It's going to test you in ways you can't imagine. It's going to push you to limits you didn't know you had. It's going to break you down so you can be built back up stronger. But that's the process. That's the journey. That's the price of transformation. And it's worth it. It's worth every drop of sweat, every tear, every moment of discomfort, every sacrifice. Because on the other side of all that pain and struggle and effort is the person you were always meant to be. The strongest version of you, the most disciplined version of you, the most capable version of you, the version that doesn't need anyone else, the version that can handle anything, the version that looks at challenges and gets excited instead of scared. That version of you is waiting. They're ready. They're calling out to you right now. Are you going to answer? Are you going to become them? Are you going to do what needs to be done? Or are you going to keep waiting for someone to save you? The answer to that question will determine everything. Your future, your legacy, your life. Choose wisely. Choose action over waiting. Choose growth over comfort. Choose yourself over your excuses. Choose to save yourself. Because nobody else is coming. You're on your own. Let me tell you something about reality. Reality is you've been standing at the edge of your dream for years. Years. Not months. Not weeks. Years. And you're still standing there. Still thinking about it. Still planning for it. Still getting ready to get ready. Still maintaining your comfortable existence while telling yourself that one day, someday, when conditions are right, when you feel ready, when you have more money or more time or more whatever, then you'll really go for it. That day isn't coming. You know why? Because you're not building toward that day. You're building away from it. Every single day you maintain your backup plan is a day you invest in not succeeding at your real plan. Every single day you keep your safety net warm is a day you tell the universe you're not serious. Every single day you preserve your escape route is a day you practice quitting before you even start. And I'm not here to make you feel good about that. I'm not here to tell you it's okay. I'm not here to pat you on the back and say you're doing your best. Because you're not doing your best. You're doing your safest. You're doing your most comfortable. You're doing your most convenient. And that's exactly why you're stuck in the same place you were last year, and the year before that, And the year before that. How long are you going to do this? How many more years are you going to waste maintaining Plan B instead of committing to Plan A? How much longer are you going to split your energy between your dream and your fallback position? How much more time are you going to spend building a life you don't want just because it's easier than risking everything for the life you actually want? Time is running out. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 20 or 40 or 60. Time is running out. Every day that passes is a day you don't get back. Every week you spend maintaining your comfortable mediocrity is a week stolen from your potential greatness. Every month you keep your backup plan is a month you could have spent building something that matters. And you're choosing comfort. You're choosing safety. You're choosing the slow death of dreams deferred over the scary possibility of dreams pursued. That's on you, nobody else. Not your circumstances, not your past, not your responsibilities, not your obligations. You're the one choosing to keep your escape routes open. You're the one refusing to burn the boats. You're the one maintaining a comfortable prison and calling it being smart. And I get it. I understand why. Burning the boats is terrifying. Cutting off every retreat feels reckless. Going all in when you don't know if it'll work out activates every fear response in your body. Your brain is screaming at you to keep your options open. Your logical mind is listing every reason why you need a backup plan. Your survival instinct is telling you that safety is more important than dreams. But here's what your brain isn't telling you. Here's what your logical mind conveniently forgets. Here's what your survival instinct doesn't understand. You're not surviving. You're dying slowly. Every day you play it safe, a piece of your soul dies. Every day you maintain your backup plan, your dream gets smaller. Every day you refuse to fully commit, you become less of who you could be and more of who you never wanted to become. Is that what you want? You want to become the person who had dreams once? The person who talked about doing big things? The person who was going to change their life but never quite got around to it? That person who's always planning and preparing and getting ready but never actually doing? That's who you're becoming right now. That's who you're choosing to be by keeping your safety nets. And the worst part is you know it. Deep down, in that place you don't like to look at, you know you're not fully committed. You know you're hedging your bets. You know you're keeping one foot out the door. You feel it every time you work on your dream. That little voice that says, well, if this doesn't work out, I can always. That's the voice of your backup plan. That's the sound of your uncommitment. That's the noise of your own self-doubt wrapped in the language of practicality. That voice is killing you. It's killing your dreams. It's killing your potential. It's killing the person you could become. Because as long as that voice is there, as long as you have somewhere comfortable to run back to, you will never give everything you have. You will never access your full power. You will never discover what you're truly capable of. You'll always be operating at partial capacity, keeping something in reserve for when you quit. And you will quit, I promise you. With a backup plan ready, you will quit. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but when it gets hard, when it gets scary, when it demands more than you thought you'd have to give, you'll quit. You'll retreat to your backup plan, and you'll tell yourself you made the smart choice, the responsible choice, the mature choice. But you'll know, in your gut, you'll know you quit because you could, because you gave yourself permission to, because you never really committed in the first place. That knowledge will haunt you. It'll eat at you in quiet moments. It'll whisper to you late at night. It'll show up in the mirror when you're alone. You'll see it in your own eyes. The knowledge that you had something in you that you never released, that you had potential you never explored, that you had dreams you never really pursued because you were too busy maintaining your comfortable fallback position. Is that really what you want? You want to be 80 years old looking back on your life knowing you played it safe, knowing you kept your backup plans, knowing you never really went for it, Knowing you spent your one precious life maintaining escape routes instead of building dreams? That's the path you're on right now. That's where keeping your safety nets leads. To a life of comfort and regret. To a life of safety and what if. To a life of surviving instead of thriving. I'm asking you to choose something different. I'm asking you to make a decision that terrifies you. I'm asking you to burn the boats. Not metaphorically, not symbolically. Actually burn them. Look at every backup plan you've been maintaining and dismantle it. Look at every safety net you've been keeping warm and let it go. Look at every escape route you've been preserving and close it permanently. Make retreat impossible. Make going back unthinkable. Make staying the same so painful that your only option is to move forward. That's not recklessness, that's commitment. That's what it actually means to go all in. That's what separates people who achieve extraordinary things from people who dream about achieving extraordinary things while maintaining ordinary lives. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what if I fail? What if I burn the boats and it doesn't work out? What if I go all in and I lose? Let me ask you something better. What if you succeed? What if burning the boats is exactly what you need to unlock your full potential? What if your backup plan is the only thing standing between you and everything you've ever wanted? What if the reason you haven't made it yet is because you've been giving yourself permission to quit? Think about that. Really think about it. How much energy are you putting into your backup plan? How much mental space does it occupy? How much of your focus is dedicated to keeping that option available? Now imagine redirecting all that energy, all that focus, all that mental space toward your actual dream. Imagine what you could build if you weren't splitting yourself in half. Imagine who you could become if you weren't keeping something in reserve for when you quit. You'd be unstoppable. That's what you'd be. You'd be dangerous, not to other people, to your own limitations, to your own excuses, to all the stories you've been telling yourself about why you can't do the thing. Because when retreat isn't an option, you find a way. When going back is impossible, you figure out how to move forward. When staying the same means you lose everything, you discover capabilities you didn't know existed. That's what burning the boats does. It forces evolution. It demands transformation. It creates conditions where you have no choice but to become the person who handles this. And that person, that version of you that emerges when retreat isn't available, that's who you've been looking for. That's the breakthrough you've been waiting for. That's the you that's capable of extraordinary things. But that person can't show up while you're maintaining your backup plans. They can't emerge while you're keeping your escape routes open. They can't take over while you're still clinging to your comfortable existence. Something has to die for something else to be born. And what needs to die is your ability to retreat, your option to quit, your comfortable fallback position that's been catching you every time things get hard. Let it die. Kill it on purpose. Eliminate it with intention. Not because you're being impulsive or reckless or stupid, because you understand that nothing significant ever came from hedging bets, because you know that partial commitment gets partial results, because you're finally ready to find out what you're capable of when you stop giving yourself an out. That's what this moment is. It's a decision point. You can keep reading and do nothing. Keep your backup plans. Keep your safety nets. Keep splitting yourself between your dream and your fallback position. Keep living in that gray area where you're not failing bad enough to be forced to change, but not succeeding enough to feel satisfied. That's an option. It's a terrible option, but it's an option. Or you can do something different. You can make this the moment everything changes. You can make this the day you stop preparing for failure and started expecting success. You can make this the time you finally took yourself seriously enough to eliminate every retreat. You can burn the boats. Right now, today, this moment. And I'm not talking about quitting your job tomorrow with no plan. I'm not talking about being stupid or impulsive. I'm talking about making a real decision, the kind that scares you, The kind where you look at your backup plan and you say, I'm done maintaining this. I'm done keeping this option warm. I'm done giving myself permission to quit. From this moment forward, I'm all in. No safety net, no backup plan, no escape route. Just me and my dream and my absolute refusal to accept anything less than making it real. That's a decision. That's commitment. That's what changes everything. Not trying harder while keeping your options open. Not working more while maintaining your backup plan. Not hustling while preserving your safety net. Eliminating the option to retreat. Making success your only acceptable outcome. Creating conditions where you have to figure it out because not figuring it out means you lose everything. That's when you tap into power you didn't know you had. That's when you access capabilities that were always there but never necessary. That's when you become someone you didn't know you could be. Because necessity is the mother of invention. Pressure creates diamonds. When you have no choice but to succeed, you find a way to succeed. But you have to create that pressure. You have to manufacture that necessity. You have to put yourself in a position where failure is so unacceptable that your mind has no choice but to figure out how to win. And the way you do that is by burning the boats, by cutting off every retreat, by making going back more painful than pushing forward. Most people won't do this. Most people will read these words and feel inspired for about 10 minutes and then go right back to maintaining their backup plans. Most people will agree with everything I'm saying and then do nothing about it. Most people will nod along and then return to their comfortable existence where they keep one foot in their dream and one foot in their safety zone. Don't be most people. Most people are stuck. Most people are frustrated. Most people are living lives of quiet desperation, talking about what they're going to do someday while never doing anything today. Most people die with their dreams still inside them because they were too scared to burn the boats and find out what they were capable of. You're better than that. You have more in you than that. You're capable of more than a life spent maintaining backup plans. But you have to prove it. Not to me, not to anyone else, to yourself. You have to prove to yourself that you're willing to bet on you, that you're willing to risk everything for what you say you want, that you're willing to burn the boats and trust that you'll figure it out. And you will figure it out. Human beings are incredible at solving problems when we have to, when there's no choice, when survival depends on it. That's when we're at our best. That's when we access resources we didn't know we had. That's when we become resourceful and creative and relentless. But we don't get there by keeping things comfortable. We get there by making things uncomfortable, by putting ourselves in positions where we have to evolve or die. That's what burning the boats does. It creates necessary discomfort. It manufactures unavoidable pressure. It puts you in a situation where you have to become someone different because who you are isn't enough to handle where you are. And in that gap, in that space between who you are and who you need to be, transformation happens. Growth occurs. The person you've been waiting to become finally shows up. But they only show up when you make it necessary, when you create conditions that demand their emergence, when you burn the boats and make retreat impossible so the only way out is through. That's not happening while you keep your safety nets. That's not occurring while you maintain your backup plans. That's not taking place while you preserve your escape routes. You have to choose. Not eventually, not someday, not when you're ready. Now, this moment, this decision. Are you going to keep playing it safe or are you going to burn the boats? Are you going to keep hedging your bets or are you going to go all in? Are you going to keep preparing for failure or are you going to expect yourself to succeed? Because expecting yourself to succeed looks like eliminating every other option. It looks like making success the only acceptable outcome. It looks like burning every bridge back to mediocrity so the only direction you can go is toward greatness. That's what real commitment looks like. That's what actually going all in means. Not trying hard while keeping your options open. Eliminating your options so trying hard is your only choice. Listen to me. Your mind is your most powerful weapon. But right now you're using it against yourself. You're using all that intelligence and creativity to build elaborate justifications for why you need to keep your backup plans. You're using all that problem-solving ability to figure out how to stay comfortable instead of how to become extraordinary. You're using all that mental power to maintain the status quo instead of to shatter it. What if you redirected all that mental energy? What if you took all that intelligence you're currently using to rationalize your fear and pointed it at your dream instead? What if you used all that creativity to solve the problems standing between you and success, instead of creating reasons why you might fail? What if you weaponized your mind for your dreams instead of against them? That's what happens when you burn the boats. Your mind stops working on exit strategies and starts working on winning strategies. Your brain stops calculating how to retreat and starts calculating how to advance. Your thoughts stop preparing you for comfortable failure and start preparing you for uncomfortable success. Because when retreat isn't an option, your mind has no choice but to focus all its power on moving forward. And your mind is capable of so much more than you're currently demanding from it. You're operating at a fraction of your mental capacity because you're splitting your focus. Half your brain is working on your dream, the other half is working on your backup plan. Half your creativity is solving problems related to success, the other half is preparing for failure. Half your mental energy is moving you forward, the other half is keeping an escape route open. Stop splitting yourself. Stop dividing your mental resources. Stop using half your brain to build something great and the other half to prepare for when you quit. Consolidate all that power. Direct all that energy. Focus all that creativity on one thing: your dream, your goal, your vision. No backup plan, no escape route, no safety net. Just pure, concentrated, undivided focus on making it happen. That's when you become truly dangerous. That's when you access levels of performance you didn't know existed. That's when you tap into capabilities that were always there but never necessary because you always had somewhere else to go. But when you burn the boats, when you eliminate retreat, when you make success your only option, your mind unlocks everything it's been holding back, everything it's been keeping in reserve, everything it's been saving for your backup plan. And what you discover is that you're capable of so much more than you thought. You're stronger than you believed. You're more resourceful than you imagined. You're more creative than you knew. You're more resilient than you gave yourself credit for. But you only discover all of that when you put yourself in a position where you have to, when you make retreat impossible, when you burn the boats. So burn them, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Now, this moment, look at your life, look at your backup plans, look at your safety nets, look at your escape routes, and eliminate them, all of them. Make a decision right now that terrifies you. Make a commitment that feels reckless. Make a move that looks crazy from the outside but feels necessary from the inside. That feeling in your gut right now, that mixture of fear and excitement, that's what it feels like to finally take yourself seriously. That's the sensation of actually committing. That's what happens when you stop playing it safe and start playing to win. Welcome it, don't run from it, don't rationalize it away, don't let your logical mind talk you out of it. Feel that fear and do it anyway, because comfort is the enemy of growth. Safety is the death of potential. Backup plans are dream killers. You cannot become extraordinary while maintaining ordinary options. You cannot build something significant while keeping something comfortable on standby. You cannot transform into who you need to be while staying attached to who you are. Something has to give. Something has to go. Something has to die. And what needs to die is your attachment to safety, your addiction to comfort, your need for backup plans, your insistence on keeping escape routes open. All of that has to go. All of that has to burn. All of that has to be eliminated if you want to access the version of yourself that's capable of extraordinary things. That version exists, right now, inside you, waiting. It's been waiting for years, waiting for you to take yourself seriously, waiting for you to make a real commitment, waiting for you to burn the boats and make retreat impossible. That version of you knows what to do. That version has all the answers. That version is capable of handling whatever comes. But that version can't emerge while you're maintaining your backup plans. You have to choose which version of yourself you want to be. The one who plays it safe and wonders what if, or the one who burns the boats and finds out, the one who keeps escape routes open and never fully commits, or the one who makes retreat impossible and discovers what they're truly capable of, the one who maintains comfortable mediocrity, or the one who risks everything for extraordinary possibility. You can't be both. You can't live in both worlds. You can't maintain your comfortable existence and build your extraordinary dream at the same time. One has to win. One has to dominate. One has to become your entire focus. And if you want your dream to win, if you want your extraordinary life to emerge, if you want to become who you're capable of becoming, then you have to eliminate the competition. You have to burn the boats back to your ordinary life. Do it. Stop reading and do it. Stop thinking about it and take action. Look at your life right now. Identify every backup plan, every safety net, every comfortable fallback position, every escape route you've been maintaining. Write them down. Look at them. Then eliminate them. All of them. Today. Make a decision that terrifies you. Make a commitment that scares you. Make a move that feels like you're jumping off a cliff with no parachute. That feeling, that terror, that's the feeling of finally taking yourself seriously. That's what it feels like to actually commit. That's the sensation of eliminating retreat as an option. Welcome it, embrace it, let it fuel you, because that fear means you finally have something real at stake. That panic means it actually matters now. That uncertainty means you're finally playing a game worth winning. And you will win, not because I'm promising you success, not because burning the boats guarantees results, but because when you eliminate retreat as an option, you become someone who finds a way. You become someone who solves impossible problems. You become someone who refuses to accept failure because failure isn't an option you gave yourself. That's who you become when you burn the boats. Not lucky, not gifted, not special. Committed. Fully, completely, totally committed to making it work because you don't have anywhere else to go. And that commitment, that all-in mentality, that refusal to retreat, that's what changes everything. That's what unlocks your potential. That's what transforms you from someone who dreams about doing big things into someone who actually does them. Every setback becomes a setup for a comeback when you can't retreat. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to grow when going back isn't available. Every challenge becomes a chance to discover new capabilities when staying the same isn't an option. That's the power of burning the boats. It transforms how you see everything. Problems stop being reasons to quit and start being puzzles to solve. Difficulties stop being signals to retreat and start being invitations to evolve. Failures stop being endings and start being education. But that transformation only happens when retreat isn't available. When you have a backup plan, problems become reasons to use it. When you have an escape route, difficulties become signs that maybe you should take it. When you have a safety net, failures become permission to quit. Your backup plan isn't protecting you. It's poisoning you. It's contaminating your commitment. It's infecting your resolve. It's giving you a way out when what you need is no way out. So cut it off. Eliminate it. Destroy it. Not because you're being reckless, because you understand that your backup plan is your biggest obstacle. Your safety net is your greatest enemy. Your escape route is what's keeping you trapped. Burn them all. Make retreat so impossible that your only option is to figure out how to advance. That's when miracles happen. That's when breakthroughs occur. That's when you do things you never thought possible. Not because you suddenly became superhuman, because you became fully human. Because you finally accessed the full range of your capabilities instead of operating at partial capacity. Because you stopped keeping something in reserve and started giving everything you have. And what you have is enough. More than enough. You have everything you need to succeed. You always did. The problem was never your capabilities. It was never your resources. It was never your circumstances. The problem was your willingness to retreat, your option to quit, your backup plan that made full commitment unnecessary. But now you know. Now you understand. Now you see that your backup plan has been holding you back more than helping you. Now you recognize that your safety net has been trapping you more than protecting you. Now you realize that your escape route has been keeping you stuck more than keeping you safe. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to keep reading and do nothing? Going to feel inspired for a few minutes and then go back to your comfortable existence? Going to agree with everything I'm saying and then change nothing? Or are you going to do something different? Are you going to make a real decision? Are you going to burn the boats? The choice is yours. But understand this. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you'll keep getting what you've been getting. If you want something different, you have to do something different. And the most different thing you can do right now is burn every boat back to your old life and commit fully to your new one. No safety net. No backup plan. No escape route. Just you and your dream, and your absolute refusal to accept anything less than making it real. That's what it takes. That's what separates people who make it from people who don't. Not talent, not luck, not circumstances. The willingness to burn the boats and bet everything on yourself. The courage to cut off every retreat and force yourself forward. The commitment to go all in and figure it out because there's no other option. You got that in you. I know you do. The question is whether you're going to access it, whether you're going to demand it from yourself, whether you're going to create the conditions that force it out of you. You can keep playing it safe if you want. You can keep your backup plan if that makes you feel better. But don't wonder why nothing changes. Don't wonder why you're stuck in the same place year after year. You know why. You're not fully committed. You're not all in. You haven't burned the boats. Do it. Do it today. Look at your backup plan and eliminate it. Look at your safety net and remove it. Look at your escape routes and close them off. Then look at your dream and say, this is it. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm betting everything on. This is what I'm committing to fully and completely, with no way back and no option to quit. That's when your life changes. That's when you become different. That's when you discover what you're actually capable of. Not when it's convenient. Not when it's comfortable. Not when you got somewhere to run back to. When you eliminate every option except success. When you burn the boats and force yourself to swim or die. That's when you find out what you're made of. And I believe you're made of more than you think. I believe you got greatness in you that you haven't accessed. I believe you're capable of achieving things you've only dreamed about. But I also believe you'll never find out if you keep your backup plan. You'll never discover it if you maintain your escape routes. You'll never become it if you refuse to burn the boats. So burn them. Burn them today. Burn them right now. Cut off every single retreat. Eliminate every backup option. Remove every safety net. Go all in on yourself. Bet everything on your dream. Commit fully to becoming who you're meant to be. That's the only way. That's what it takes. That's what separates the people who make it from the people who spend their life wondering what if. Don't be the person who wonders. Be the person who knows. Be the person who went for it. Be the person who burned the boats and figured it out. Be the person who cut off every retreat and moved forward anyway. Be the person who committed fully and completely and discovered what they were capable of when they stopped giving themselves an out. That person is in you. That person is waiting for you to burn the boats and let them out. That person is ready to show up the moment you eliminate every escape route. That person is who you become when you stop preparing for failure and start expecting success. When you stop maintaining backup plans and start betting everything on plan A. When you stop keeping one foot in your old life and put both feet in your new one. Do it. You know you need to. You know it's time. You know you've been playing it safe too long. You know those backup plans are holding you back. You know those safety nets are keeping you from flying. You know those escape routes are the reason you never fully commit. So burn the boats, cut off the retreats, go all in. Make it impossible to go back. Make it necessary to go forward. Put yourself in a position where you have to succeed. That's where transformation happens. That's where breakthroughs occur. That's where you become the person you were always meant to be. Not in comfort, not in safety, not with backup plans. In the fire, in the pressure, in the all or nothing moment when you eliminated every option except making it work. That's where greatness lives. That's where your potential waits. That's where the life you actually want is ready for you to claim it. But you gotta burn the boats first. You gotta cut off the retreats. You gotta go all in. No half measures, no partial commitment, no keeping your options open. Full commitment, total commitment. The kind of commitment where you either make it happen or you don't survive. That's what it takes. That's what's required. That's what you need to do right now if you want your life to change. So do it. Stop reading and do it. Stop thinking about it and do it. Stop preparing for it and do it. Burn the boats. Cut off every single retreat. Go all in on yourself. Bet everything on your dream. Eliminate every escape route. Make success the only option because you removed every other option. That's how you win. That's how you succeed. That's how you become who you're meant to be. Burn the boats. Do it now. Your future self is waiting on the other side of that commitment. Your breakthrough is waiting on the other side of that decision. Your transformation is waiting on the other side of burning those boats. So light the match, watch them burn, and never look back. This is your moment. This is your time. This is when you stop being the person who talks about doing things and become the person who does things. This is when you stop being the person who keeps options open and become the person who goes all in. This is when you stop being the person who maintains backup plans and become the person who burns the boats. Right now, this moment, make the decision, take the action, eliminate the retreats, burn the boats, and discover who you become when failure is not an option you gave yourself. Discover what you're capable of when retreat is impossible. Discover what you can build when you finally stop splitting your focus and direct everything toward your dream. That's the person you've been looking for. That's the life you've been wanting. That's the breakthrough you've been waiting for. And it's all on the other side of one decision, one commitment, one action. Burn the boats. That's it. That's everything. That's what changes your life forever. Listen, right now, you're sitting there thinking about discipline. You're thinking about all the things you need to do, all the promises you made to yourself, all the goals sitting on that list collecting dust. And you know what? You're feeling something about it. Maybe guilt, maybe frustration, maybe that familiar wave of anxiety that comes when you think about everything you haven't done yet. Here's what I need you to understand. Those feelings, they mean nothing, absolutely nothing. Your feelings about the work don't determine whether the work gets done. Your feelings about waking up early don't determine whether you wake up early. Your feelings about going to the gym don't put your body in the gym. This is the hard truth nobody wants to tell you because it doesn't sound nice. It doesn't feel good to hear. But I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. You've been lied to your whole life. They told you to follow your passion. They told you to do what makes you happy. They told you to listen to your heart. And now look at you. You're waiting to feel motivated before you start. You're waiting to feel inspired before you take action. You're waiting to feel ready before you begin. Let me tell you something that's going to change everything if you actually listen. You're never going to feel ready. You're never going to feel like doing it. That feeling you're waiting for, it's not coming. The most successful people you see around you, the ones who have built something real, they're not special because they feel more motivated than you. They're not waking up every morning filled with joy about the grind ahead. You think the person who built $1 million business felt like working every single day? You think the athlete who won the championship felt like training when it was cold and dark at 5 in the morning? You think the person who lost 100 pounds felt like going to the gym every single time? No, they didn't feel like it. But here's the difference between them and everyone else. They did it anyway. They understood something that most people will never understand. Feelings are temporary. Feelings are weather patterns in your mind. They come and they go. One moment you feel motivated, the next moment you feel tired. One moment you feel strong, the next moment you feel weak. But discipline is permanent. Discipline is the structure you build that holds strong regardless of how you feel. Think about this. Every single day you wake up and you have a choice. You can listen to your feelings or you can listen to your commitments. Your feelings will tell you to stay in bed. Your feelings will tell you to skip the workout. Your feelings will tell you to eat that junk food. Your feelings will tell you to watch another episode instead of working on your goals. Your feelings will always choose comfort. Always. Because that's what feelings do. They're designed to protect you from discomfort. They're designed to keep you safe and comfortable and warm. But here's the problem. Everything you want in life is on the other side of discomfort. Everything. The body you want requires discomfort. The business you want requires discomfort. The relationship you want requires discomfort. The life you want requires you to do things that feel uncomfortable. So if you're always listening to your feelings, if you're always choosing comfort, you're guaranteeing that you'll never get what you want. You're guaranteeing that you'll stay exactly where you are right now. I'm not saying feelings don't matter. I'm saying they can't be in charge. Your feelings can sit in the back seat. They can come along for the ride, but they don't get to drive. Discipline drives. Commitment drives. Your vision for who you want to become drives, not your feelings about the journey. You need to separate these two things in your mind right now. There's the person you are when you feel good, and there's the person you are when you feel terrible. Most people are only productive when they feel good. And that's why most people stay average. You want to know the secret to becoming exceptional? It's simple. Become the same person regardless of how you feel. Do the same work on Monday that you do on Friday. Do the same work when you're tired that you do when you're energized. Do the same work when you're sad that you do when you're happy. That's discipline. That's what separates the people who make it from the people who don't. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not connections. It's the ability to show up and do the work when you don't feel like it. Right now, I need you to think about something. Think about all the times you've quit. Think about all the times you started something and didn't finish. Think about all those January 1st resolutions that died by February. Why did you quit? Be honest with yourself. You quit because you didn't feel like continuing. You quit because it got hard. You quit because the initial excitement wore off. You quit because your feelings changed. And every time you quit because of your feelings, you taught yourself a lesson. You taught yourself that your feelings are more important than your commitments. You taught yourself that comfort is more important than growth. You taught yourself that temporary emotion is more powerful than long-term vision. That pattern has to break today, right now, this moment. You need to make a decision that your commitments matter more than your feelings. You need to decide that the promises you make to yourself are non-negotiable. When you say you're going to do something, you do it, period. Not when you feel like it, not when it's convenient, not when you're motivated. You do it because you said you would. That's integrity. That's self-respect. That's discipline. Let me tell you what happens when you start living this way. At first, it's brutal. The first week of ignoring your feelings and just doing the work anyway is going to be one of the hardest things you've ever done. Your mind is going to throw everything at you. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel like this is too hard. You're going to feel like you're not built for this. Every excuse you've ever used will come flooding back. And this is the critical moment. This is where most people break. They feel all of this resistance and they think it means something is wrong. They think it means they're not supposed to be doing this. They think it means they should quit. But what if I told you that all that resistance is actually proof that you're doing something right? What if I told you that the discomfort is the whole point? See, your brain is designed to keep you comfortable. It's designed to keep you safe. So when you start doing things that are uncomfortable, your brain panics. It sends you all these signals telling you to stop. It makes you feel tired. It makes you feel anxious. It makes you feel like something is wrong. But nothing is wrong. Everything is right. You're finally breaking the pattern. You're finally pushing past the comfort zone. You're finally becoming someone new. And here's what happens if you push through that first week. If you ignore all those feelings and you just keep showing up, something incredible starts to happen. The resistance gets weaker, not because the work gets easier, but because you get stronger. Every time you choose discipline over feelings, you're building mental muscle. Every time you do the thing you don't want to do, you're proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're building self-trust. This is what people don't understand about discipline. They think it's about punishing yourself. They think it's about suffering. But that's not what discipline is. Discipline is love, real love. Not the fake love that tells you to do whatever feels good in the moment. Not the fake love that lets you destroy yourself with comfort and convenience. Real love, the kind of love that says I care about you too much to let you waste your life. The kind of love that says I care about your future more than your temporary feelings. The kind of love that says you deserve better than the life you're settling for. When you eat clean even though you want junk food, that's love. When you work out even though you're tired, that's love. When you study even though you want to watch TV, that's love. When you wake up early even though you want to sleep in, that's love. You're choosing your future self over your present feelings. You're investing in who you're becoming instead of who you are right now. That's the highest form of self-love that exists. But nobody wants to hear this. Everyone wants the easy way. Everyone wants the shortcut. Everyone wants to feel good all the time and still get the results. And that's why everyone is stuck. That's why everyone is frustrated. That's why everyone is looking at their life wondering why nothing is changing. Nothing is changing because you're not changing. You're still the same person making the same choices based on the same feelings. You want different results, but you're not willing to become a different person. Let me ask you something. Who do you want to be? Not what do you want to have. Who do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be someone who keeps their word? Do you want to be someone who finishes what they start? Do you want to be someone who shows up even when it's hard? Do you want to be someone who can be counted on? Do you want to be someone who has control over their life? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then you need to understand something. You don't become that person by accident. You don't become that person when you feel like it. You become that person through discipline, through doing the things you don't want to do, through showing up when you don't feel like it, through keeping promises to yourself even when it's hard. That's how you become that person. There is no other way. Right now you have two paths in front of you. One path is familiar. It's the path of feelings. The path of doing things when you're motivated. The path of starting and stopping. The path of comfort. The path of excuses. The path of staying exactly who you are right now. You know this path well. You've been walking it for years, and you know exactly where it leads. It leads to regret. It leads to unfulfilled potential. It leads to looking in the mirror 5 years from now and seeing the exact same person you are today. The other path is unknown. It's the path of discipline, the path of doing things regardless of how you feel, the path of finishing what you start, the path of discomfort, the path of no excuses, the path of becoming someone new. You don't know this path. It's scary. It's hard. It requires you to change everything about how you operate. But let me tell you where this path leads. It leads to self-respect. It leads to confidence. It leads to achieving things you never thought possible. It leads to looking in the mirror and being proud of who you see. Which path are you going to choose? And I need you to understand something about this choice. You're making it right now. You're not making it tomorrow. You're not making it next week. You're not making it on Monday. You're making it right now in this moment. What you do in the next 5 minutes will show you which path you're on. Are you going to close this and go back to scrolling? Are you going to make another excuse? Are you going to say you'll start tomorrow? Or are you going to get up right now and do something? Are you going to take one action toward becoming who you want to be? See, most people think change happens in some big dramatic moment. They think one day they'll wake up and feel different, and that's when they'll change their life. But that's not how it works. Change happens in the small decisions. Change happens when you choose discipline over feelings one time, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, and before you know it, you've built a completely different life. One small choice at a time. I want you to understand something about your brain. Your brain is incredibly powerful, but it's also incredibly simple in some ways. Your brain learns through repetition. Every time you do something, you're teaching your brain that this is who you are. Every time you hit snooze, you're teaching your brain that you're someone who hits snooze. Every time you skip the gym, you're teaching your brain that you're someone who skips the gym. Every time you choose comfort, you're teaching your brain that you're someone who chooses comfort. But here's the good news. It works the other way too. Every time you get up when the alarm goes off, you're teaching your brain that you're someone who gets up. Every time you go to the gym, you're teaching your brain that you're someone who goes to the gym. Every time you choose discipline, you're teaching your brain that you're someone who chooses discipline. And after enough repetitions, it becomes automatic. It becomes who you are. It becomes your identity. This is why the first few times are so hard. You're fighting against all the previous repetitions. You're fighting against the old identity. But if you keep going, if you keep choosing discipline over feelings, eventually the scale tips. Eventually it becomes easier to do the disciplined thing than to not do it. Eventually you become someone who just does the work. Not because you feel like it, but because that's who you are. Think about the people you admire. Think about the people who have accomplished great things. Do you think they felt like doing the work every single day? Do you think they never wanted to quit? Do you think they never got tired or frustrated or discouraged? Of course they did. They felt all of those things, but they did the work anyway. They showed up anyway. They kept going anyway. That's the only difference between them and everyone else. They didn't let their feelings stop them. And here's something nobody tells you. The feelings don't go away. Even after you've built discipline, even after you've achieved success, there will still be days when you don't feel like doing the work. There will still be days when you're tired. There will still be days when you want to quit. But by that point, you'll have built such a strong foundation of discipline that those feelings don't control you anymore. You acknowledge them, and then you do the work anyway. That's mastery. That's freedom. Real freedom isn't doing whatever you feel like doing whenever you feel like doing it. That's slavery to your emotions. Real freedom is having control over your actions regardless of your emotions. Real freedom is being able to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Real freedom is being the same person on your worst day that you are on your best day. That's power. That's strength. That's discipline. I need you to stop waiting. Stop waiting to feel motivated. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for Monday. Stop waiting for the new year. Stop waiting for your life to be less busy. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for a sign. The sign is this. The sign is that you're still breathing. The sign is that you have another day. The sign is that it's not too late. The sign is right now. You know what you need to do. You've always known. You don't need more information. You don't need another video. You don't need another book. You don't need another podcast. You need to take action. You need to stop consuming and start creating. You need to stop learning and start doing. You need to stop thinking and start moving. The knowledge is useless without execution. The motivation is useless without action. The inspiration is useless without implementation. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick one thing. Just one thing that you know you should be doing, but you're not doing. Maybe it's working out. Maybe it's studying. Maybe it's working on your business. Maybe it's eating better. Maybe it's waking up earlier. Maybe it's going to bed earlier. Pick one thing. And I want you to commit to doing that one thing every single day for the next 30 days. No excuses, no exceptions, no negotiating with yourself. Just do it. And here's the key. I want you to do it, especially on the days you don't feel like it. Those are the most important days. Those are the days that build character. Those are the days that prove to yourself that you're serious. Anyone can do something when they feel motivated. That takes no strength. But doing something when you feel terrible, when you're tired, when you'd rather do anything else, that's when you build real discipline. That's when you become someone different. You're going to want to quit. I'm telling you this right now so you're prepared. Somewhere around day 3 or 4 or 5, you're going to feel resistance like you've never felt before. You're going to have a million reasons why you should stop. You're going to negotiate with yourself. You're going to tell yourself you'll start over next week. You're going to tell yourself that missing one day isn't a big deal. Don't listen to any of it. That's just your old self trying to stay in control. That's your feelings trying to take back the driver's seat. Don't let them. When you feel that resistance, when you hear all those excuses, I want you to remember this moment. I want you to remember why you started. I want you to remember who you want to become. And then I want you to do the thing anyway. Don't think about it. Don't debate it. Don't negotiate. Just do it. 5 seconds. That's all you need. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Move. Before your brain can stop you. Before your feelings can talk you out of it. Just move. And after you do it, after you push through that resistance and do the thing you didn't want to do, pay attention to how you feel. You're going to feel proud. You're going to feel strong. You're going to feel capable. Not because the task itself was so important, but because you proved to yourself that you can overcome your feelings. You proved to yourself that you're in control. You proved to yourself that you're becoming someone different. That feeling right there, that's the real motivation. That's the fuel that keeps you going. Not the motivation before you do the work, but the satisfaction after you've done it despite not wanting to. This is what builds self-confidence. Not affirmations, not positive thinking, not fake it till you make it. Real confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself. Real confidence comes from doing hard things. Real confidence comes from proving to yourself over and over again that you're capable of more than you thought. Every time you choose discipline over feelings, you're making a deposit in your self-confidence bank. And eventually, you'll have so much self-confidence that nothing can shake you. People are going to notice. They're going to ask you what changed. They're going to ask you how you did it. They're going to tell you they want to change too. And here's what you need to understand. You can't give them discipline. You can't make them change. They have to decide for themselves, just like you did. All you can do is show them what's possible. All you can do is be living proof that it works. All you can do is be the example. But here's what will happen. Most of the people who say they want to change won't actually do it. They'll make excuses. They'll say they're too busy. They'll say they'll start Monday. They'll say it's too hard. They'll say they're not like you. And you know what? Let them. This isn't about them. This is about you. This is about who you're becoming. This is about building a life you're proud of. You can't want it more for them than they want it for themselves. Focus on your own transformation. And transformation is exactly what this is. You're not just changing your habits. You're not just changing your routine. You're changing your identity. You're changing who you are at the core. You're becoming someone who does what needs to be done regardless of how they feel. You're becoming someone who keeps their word. You're becoming someone who finishes what they start. You're becoming someone who has control over their life. That's worth fighting for. That's worth suffering for. That's worth every uncomfortable moment. I want to talk about suffering for a second because I think we have it all wrong. We've been taught that suffering is bad. We've been taught to avoid pain at all costs. We've been taught that if something is hard, we should find an easier way. But what if suffering is the whole point? What if the discomfort is where the growth happens? What if avoiding pain is actually avoiding growth? Think about working out. Your muscles don't grow when you're lifting the weight. They grow when you're recovering from the damage you caused by lifting the weight. The pain is the signal that growth is coming. The discomfort is necessary. Without it, nothing changes. It's the same with everything in life. Without discomfort, without challenge, without suffering, there is no growth. So when you feel uncomfortable because you're waking up early or eating clean or working hard, that's not a sign that something is wrong. That's a sign that something is right. That's a sign that you're growing. That's a sign that you're changing. Embrace the discomfort. Stop trying to avoid it. Stop looking for the easy way. The easy way keeps you weak. The hard way makes you strong. The easy way keeps you the same. The hard way transforms you. The easy way is crowded with people going nowhere. The hard way is empty because most people quit. But the ones who stay on the hard way, they become unstoppable. Here's a truth that's going to make you uncomfortable. You're capable of so much more than you're doing right now. You know it. Deep down, you know it. You have potential inside you that you haven't even touched. You have strength you haven't used. You have talent you haven't developed. You have time you're wasting. And every day that you choose feelings over discipline, every day that you choose comfort over growth, every day that you choose excuses over action, you're letting that potential die. You're letting that person you could become fade away. That should make you angry. That should light a fire inside you. That should make you want to get up right now and do something about it. Because time is passing. Every single day that goes by is a day you're never getting back. Every single moment you spend on your phone is a moment you could have spent building something. Every single hour you spend watching TV is an hour you could have spent working toward your goals. Time doesn't care about your feelings. Time doesn't wait for you to feel motivated. Time just keeps moving. And one day you're going to be old. One day you're going to look back on your life. And the question is, what are you going to see? Are you going to see someone who did everything they could? Someone who pushed themselves? Someone who didn't let fear or feelings or excuses hold them back? Or are you going to see someone who played it safe? Someone who stayed comfortable? Someone who always talked about what they were going to do but never actually did it? That future version of you is watching you right now. They're watching the choices you're making. They're watching whether you're going to do the work or make another excuse. They're watching whether you're going to choose discipline or feelings. What do you want them to see? What do you want to be able to tell them when you meet them? I did everything I could. Or I wish I had tried harder. The beautiful thing about discipline is that it's available to everyone. You don't need money. You don't need connections. You don't need a degree. You don't need permission. You don't need special circumstances. All you need is the decision to do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. That's it. That's the whole game. Can you do the thing even when you don't feel like it? Can you show up even when it's hard? Can you keep going even when you want to quit? If you can answer yes to those questions, if you can actually live that way, there is nothing you can't accomplish. Nothing. The limits you think you have are just stories you've been telling yourself. The barriers you think exist are just in your mind. The reasons you think you can't are just excuses. None of it is real. The only real limitation is your willingness to be disciplined. That's it. Everything else is negotiable. So stop negotiating with yourself. Stop making deals. Stop saying you'll do it later. Stop saying you'll start Monday. Stop saying you're too tired. Stop saying you're too busy. Stop saying you're not ready. All of those are just different versions of the same thing. They're all just your feelings, trying to stay in control. They're all just your old self trying to keep you comfortable. They're all just resistance trying to stop you from becoming who you're meant to be. You need to get violent with mediocrity. You need to get aggressive with comfort. You need to declare war on every excuse you've ever made. You need to burn the bridge back to your old life. You need to make it impossible to go back to who you were. How do you do that? By taking action right now. By doing the thing you've been putting off. By starting before you're ready. By moving before you have all the answers. By committing fully to becoming someone different. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it's going to be easy. It's not. It's going to be hard. Really hard. There are going to be days when you want to quit. Days when you question whether it's worth it. Days when you don't see any progress. Days when everything seems to be going wrong. Those days are coming. I guarantee it. But here's what I also guarantee. If you push through those days, if you keep showing up even when you don't see results, if you trust the process and stay disciplined, you will transform your life. You will become someone you're proud of. You will achieve things you never thought possible. But you have to start. You have to take that first step. You have to make that first choice to pick discipline over feelings. And then you have to make that choice again tomorrow, and again the day after that, and again and again and again until it becomes who you are. Until discipline isn't something you do, it's something you are. Until showing up isn't a choice, it's automatic. Until doing the work isn't hard, it's just what you do. That's the goal. That's the target. Not motivation, not inspiration, not feelings. Discipline. Becoming someone who just does what needs to be done. Becoming someone who keeps their word. Becoming someone who finishes what they start. Becoming someone who shows up. That's the person you're building. One choice at a time. One day at a time. One action at a time. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep living based on your feelings? Are you going to keep making excuses? Are you going to keep starting and stopping? Are you going to keep waiting for the perfect time? Or are you going to choose discipline? Are you going to choose to become someone different? Are you going to choose to build the life you actually want instead of settling for the life you have? The choice is yours. It's always been yours. Nobody else can make it for you. Nobody else can do the work for you. Nobody else can save you. This is on you. Your life is your responsibility. Your happiness is your responsibility. Your success is your responsibility. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission. Stop waiting for circumstances to be perfect. Stop waiting for anything. Start right now. No feelings, just discipline. That's the formula. That's the secret. That's what separates the people who make it from the people who don't. It's not complicated. It's not easy. But it's simple. Do the work when you don't feel like it. Show up when you want to quit. Keep going when it gets hard. That's it. That's discipline. And discipline is everything. Discipline is the foundation of every single thing you want in life. Build it. Protect it. Live it. Your old life is over. The person you used to be is done. Starting right now, you're someone new. Someone who chooses discipline. Someone who does what needs to be done. Someone who keeps their promises. Someone who finishes what they start. Someone who shows up. That's who you are now. Not because you feel like it, but because you decided. And once you make that decision, once you truly commit, nothing can stop you. Nothing.